What if everything you believe about yourself is completely wrong? What if the voice inside your head is not actually you? The constant narration, the anxiety, the memories, the endless stream of thoughts you call myself. What if it's all just noise appearing inside something much deeper? For thousands of years, human beings have built their identities around thought. But one silent sage from India challenged the entire structure of the human mind with a single terrifying question. Who is the one who thinks? And according to Ramana Maharshi, if you follow that question honestly, your entire sense of self may collapse. Part 1. The Prison of Thought. From the moment you were born, you were taught to build an identity. Your name, your history, your personality, your achievements, your traumas, your opinions. Little by little, a mental image was constructed. And eventually, you began to say, "This is me." But notice something strange. Your thoughts never stop changing. One moment you feel confident, the next moment insecure. One day you feel successful, another day worthless. Your mind constantly rewrites the story of who you are. Yet somehow, you still assume there is a solid person behind all of it. Most people never question this. They spend their entire lives defending an identity made almost entirely out of thoughts. And because thoughts are unstable, their peace becomes unstable too. A single criticism can destroy their mood. A memory can ruin an entire day. One anxious thought can spiral into suffering for weeks. Why? Because they believe. I am the thinker of these thoughts. But Ramana Maharshi said this assumption is the root of human suffering. Not the thoughts themselves, the identification with them. As he once said, the mind is only a bundle of thoughts. And among all thoughts, one thought is the most dangerous of all. The thought, I. Part 2. Ramana's most dangerous teaching. At age 16, Ramana Maharshi experienced something extraordinary. A sudden fear of death overtook him. But instead of running away, he turned inward. He asked himself, what exactly dies? That moment changed everything. He realized the body changes, thoughts change, emotions change, but awareness itself remains untouched. And from this realization came his most radical teaching. You are not the mind, telically, not metaphorically, literally. You are the awareness in which the mind appears. Thoughts arise by themselves. Did you choose your next thought before it appeared? Can you predict exactly what your mind will say 10 seconds from now? No, thoughts simply emerge, like clouds drifting through the sky, and yet there is something silently aware of them. Ramana called this deeper reality the true self, not the ego, not the personality, not the story, pure awareness itself. He said, your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world, and his method was devastatingly simple. Whenever a thought appeared, ask, "To whom has this thought arisen?" The answer would be, "To me." Then ask, "Who am I?" Not intellectually, not philosophically, but directly. Who is this me? Where is it? Can it actually be found? This is self-inquiry. And according to Ramana, if pursued deeply enough, the false self begins to dissolve. Part 3. Why this teaching is dangerous. This is where most people turn away, because this teaching is not comforting to the ego. It is annihilation. The mind wants spirituality that improves the self, a better self-image, more confidence, more success. But Ramana's teaching does the opposite. It asks whether the self you are trying to improve even exists in the first place. And that is terrifying. Because if the ego is not real, then who exactly is suffering? Who is afraid? Who is offended? Who is trying so desperately to become somebody? Ramana described the ego as a phantom, something that appears real only when examined superficially, like a shadow mistaken for a person in the dark. The moment you investigate it directly, it disappears. He once said, "The ego is not. Otherwise, do you admit of two selves?" He is not saying the ego should become spiritual. He is saying it was never truly there to begin with. That realization shakes the foundation of ordinary human existence, because most people would rather suffer as a person than disappear into the unknown. The ego fears silence. It fears stillness. It fears self-inquiry, because deep down, it knows something shocking. If awareness is truly who you are, then the personal identity you spent your entire life protecting may only be a mental construction. Part 4. What remains when the ego dissolves? So, what happens when the false self falls away? What remains? According to Ramana Maharshi, peace, not emotional excitement, not endless happiness, something deeper, a silence untouched by circumstances, a freedom independent of thought. You stop fighting every emotion. You stop clinging to every idea. You stop treating the mind like your identity. And for the first time, you begin to experience life directly, without the constant narrator, without psychological noise, without the exhausting burden of becoming someone. Ramana said, "Silence is also conversation, because truth is what remains when thought becomes quiet. Not forced quietness, natural quietness, like muddy water settling on its own." And strangely, when the ego relaxes, love appears naturally, not as morality, not as effort, but as the absence of separation. Because if there is no isolated me trapped inside the mind, then life is no longer happening to you. It is simply happening. and awareness remains untouched, watching, silent, infinite. Right now, don't analyze this intellectually. Just observe. Wait for your next thought to appear. Watch carefully. Did you create it? Or did it simply arise on its own? And if thoughts are appearing by themselves, then who exactly is the thinker? For the next 60 seconds after this video ends, sit in silence. Do nothing. Simply watch the mind and ask yourself, who am I? Tell me in the comments, can you find the thinker? If this video spoke to you, subscribe for more explorations into self-inquiry and consciousness.